Martin Luther King championed the civil rights movement. This is the Right to Be Civil movement.
Y'all want to know who you voted for? So they can let you in or show you the door. She votes left and he votes right. It's a hell of a recipe for a holiday fight.
From our recording studio in Castleberry, Florida, and our production house in Coral Springs, you're listening to the Purple Evolution Podcast.
I don't know any left people. I don't know any right people. We're all different shades of humanity. I don't know any red people. I don't know any blue people. We're all different shades of humanity.
My name is Doug Halper, and with your permission, I will be your guide on a journey through all things purple regarding the coexistence of human beings on this wonderful planet we call home. The creator of the Purple Evolution, my friend and our host, is Armand Della Volpe, who for over 40 years has been dedicated to being a stand for love. Along with his bride Angelina, Armand has stood true to this commitment through the mediums of public speaking, performing songwriter, TV and radio appearances, magazine and book publishing, personal counseling, and now the world of podcasting. Please help me welcome my favorite civil servant, or more aptly put, servant for civility, Armand.
All right, here we are again, and I have my lovely bride joining us today. She's tired of us having all the fun, Doug. And
That's right.
Perfect timing.
Welcome, Angelina.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm thinking probably what's on most people's minds these days is us transitioning from 2020 to 2021. And, I know a lot of people think of 2020 as the COVID year, but there's a lot more to it. And the COVID will still be here in 2021, but there's a lot to that changing as well. So it feels valuable, important, and timely.
No kidding. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. That's right. Happy New Year. Wow.
Now, did you celebrate Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or Christmas or Christmaka or everything or Arbor Day? What did you celebrate?
We did Festivus.
Festivus?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Christmas for you, Festivus for the rest of us.
Awesome. Did you get anything, any good presents from Santa? Oh, wait, I want to show you a present. So this is my favorite present. This is my absolute favorite present that I gave this year. And I loved it so much that I got myself one too. So but others really don't. That my two nieces, the loves of my life. I want to share this, but not too much. My mom, who is Grandma Beth to them, and I am Uncle Doug. We both got removed from their lives about 5 years ago, something like that. Probably the most painful day of my life. And every day since then, of course, we think about them, we talk about them, and one day we're going to be able to see them again and reunite. And I used to send them postcards from the road wherever I traveled, like when I got to a new state. And so I still do that. Anyway, except I send it to me, of course. I send it to them in care of me. But anyway, so I found some pictures of them that are current. Oh. And I haven't been able to do that in about 5 years. So I'm so excited. So I got them framed and I gave it to my mom, and of course she cried, but I got myself one too. So I also cried. So let's see here. So that's Faith and Hope. And that is, on the other picture, is just Faith at her graduation. Oh, I should be talking into the mic. Of her graduation from boot camp from the National Guard. Nice. And I'm so excited and so proud of her and so glad I got to find out something that's going on in their lives. It took a lot of digging, but I found it out. And I love you guys. I miss you guys every day. Aww. So what's Santa bring you?
Well, before we do that, let me share this. You said, Doug, that was the most painful day of your life. And abandonment and rejection is really a form of violence. And that's one of the things that the Purple Evolution is trying to mitigate is that people are losing friendships and family members over politics. And I don't know the details of your situation, but can you imagine you've got a close friend, you've known him for a long time. They have dug in their heels politically into something that's opposite of you, and you're not going to be friends with them. And all this is going to be over. We're going to move past COVID, and we're going to move past some of this partisanship, and we're going to move past the most beloved and least beloved president, depending on what side of the field you're on. And we need to not have these friendships in like that, so there's more horrible days in people's lives. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's what came to me when you were saying that from a purple standpoint. I don't know how this happened, but we ended up with a lot of cash for Christmas, and we needed cash this Christmas more than ever. And one of the reasons that it's so important is because we've gone out of our way, not to bow down to sponsorship and just being commercial and always making everything about a product. So Angelina doesn't believe in that either.
No, I'm glad. Honestly, I'm glad that we don't do that.
I know, because it's
why would you? It's silly.
Yeah, it's silly, and
it's tacky, is what it is.
It's tacky, and so we wouldn't do that. So we got a lot of cash, which is
and
interesting.
Just the fact that we have the products page on our website at the purpleevolution.org website. Just because we have it there doesn't mean that we're pushing it.
Right, and I wouldn't do it even if you don't know how to spell Oregon. You do the purpleevolution.com, it'll still get you there. But I'm not saying you need to do that. So
right.
So the cash really helped us because, with not doing our normal work, the Purple Evolution is at this point a bit of a labor of love. And so not doing our traditional musical work, it came in handy. It's just what we needed. And but I will tell you this, I got a great mask that everybody loves. It's yeah. It really, people do a double take because they can't tell what's going on there. Is that real? Is that his face?
Wait, do you even have a mask on now?
Yeah, I know. If this were a little more olive colored from my Italian skin, it would even be better.
Yeah,
but I love wearing it. The people's looks,
Don't wear that for Halloween because they'd be like, "How come you didn't put a costume on?"
Right. Anyway, so that was, I guess, my greatest Christmas present was that we got to spend a lot of time around my family, which was challenging because I was weighing the two voices: go see family, be as responsible as possible, and it was a calculated risk.
Right.
And so far, so good. We ended up getting tested yesterday just to play safe, make sure we didn't pick up something. And sorry about that. Angelina and I are codependent today, as usual, sharing a headset and a microphone.
So I'll have to share with our audience that they share everything. They share. They won't drink separate glasses of wine. They'll have to share a plate of food. Even at a restaurant, they'll order one thing and they'll eat off of the same plate. So they can't use two headsets. They have to use the same one. That's true love. Right there, or true sickness.
Yeah. And the truth is, the American entrees. I don't know what it's like overseas, but I understand that America is in its own little world as far as the size of the entrees. So sharing an entree, she's a lefty, I'm a righty, and so we can just works good. It works
funny.
good.
I have to do a shout out to my friend Dave Myers that we had on the show a while back. I told him, I said, yeah, Armand and I talk about you all the time because you're such a great peacekeeper. And I was always mentioning that, about you, especially, like back in college. He goes, yeah, well, my therapist and my family calls that codependency.
There's
I don't know if
sides.
he was kidding or not, but that reminds me of all of us.
Yeah, there's two sides to every coin, and we dance in each world sometimes.
Right. Yeah. So tell me about well, let me tell you what I'm thinking about the new year is that I see a lot of shift from, obviously, almost everybody I know is ready to get the hell out of 2020. And I saw a great ornament that I showed you guys last night. It had the Grinch holding a mask and about to let it go, and it said 2020 stink, stank, stunk. And I don't really know anybody that doesn't feel that way about it. Even our buddy John had a good year, and he understands everybody's ready to move on, and he's looking forward to a great 2021. I see the shift, obviously, from COVID to, God bless, no COVID, and the shift from obviously the political shift where, the election was in November, but the inauguration is not till February. So that's a major shift between the 2 years. Gosh, God bless us if we can get some race relations under control. And that, looking back on last summer, it just seems a little surreal how evil it got, and hopefully there can be a change in that. Just so many things I'm seeing the possibility of shifting, and I think a lot of people are on board with affirming that.
Yes, and I want to make sure that none of our listeners panic, because you said the inauguration is February, and I think it's January 20th. And the thought of it being later could cause some mini strokes.
Our apologies to Joey.
Yeah.
Kevin,
Joey,
if you could get her
breathe,
to the hospital
breathe.
right now. Oh my, we're gonna do too many shout outs. So my big thought is, for our episode today, how can we focus on being more purple in 2021? How can we be more civil? I've been thinking about it a lot over the holidays. While we sing all these Christmas carols. I'm Jewish, but I celebrate everything. I celebrate whatever people are celebrating around me. We sing all these Christmas carols, even Hanukkah songs, and I don't know if they're Kwanzaa songs or whatever, but all of it during this time of year seems to be about love and hope and goodwill and
Peace.
God bless us, everyone, peace. And yet, we're in traffic and someone cuts us off and something other than peace comes out of our mouth.
Happened to me yesterday.
or we're going to buy a present for someone because we love that person so much and it's exactly what they wanted, and it will offer love to them. But while we're going to get the present in the store, somebody buys the last card you wanted, and so we get all pissed off. And I'm just thinking how funny it is that we can catch ourselves on a daily basis, maybe a minute to minute basis even, doing things like that, even though we want to be purple, we want to be civil. So I was hoping to talk about ways where we could just kind of maybe remind ourselves to get more into civility on a moment by moment basis.
Great. Totally agree. It seems like the greatest opportunity to do that is happening right now. I put something on Facebook the other day to remind people that there are going to be differences of opinions about this stuff. It's not you're right and others are wrong. And one of the things I talked about was, just to give an example of how to be more purple, is the idea. Oh my goodness! Hello, Mr.
Hey,
Kitty.
Mr. Kitty.
He's right in.
He's
you're not-
agreeing with everything.
He's
that
agreeing
y'all
with
are
all
saying.
this. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're listening and not watching, Mr. Kitty just walked across the screen in their studio.
He's doing what they call in the medical terms a CAT scan.
He's podcast bombing is what he's doing.
Right.
So I know that people have very strong feelings about systemic racism. That's one of the big hot topics. And so many, many millions of people believe that there is systemic racism, and that systemic racism is disadvantaging Black people and causing lots of drama, okay, for hundreds of years. There are other people that really strongly do not believe that. And to me, the goal is not to say you're right or I'm right or you're wrong or I'm wrong, but to say, okay, let's just take it from there. You don't agree that there is. This group believes that there is. We need to find a way for the group that believes that it is to change their mind through respectful dialogue, blah, 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 or for that group to get the legislation and action that will heal the systemic racism. But just to say it's absolutely true and you're an idiot, or it's absolutely untrue and you're a victim, that doesn't move the needle. I think I said something like, attacking each other does nothing to promote the healing. We need to convince those of us that believe it by either proving it doesn't exist or creating legislations and programs, right, to alleviate it. And to me, that can be applied to everything. Just instead of right or wrong, how can we get the person that feels like something wrong is happening to change their mind or to see something that's going to fix it? Make sense?
It's funny. I heard it does make sense. And I've been thinking just this week during all the holidays of something you've been saying to me for years. But it really, I don't know, somehow it got deeper into my heart this week, probably because of the holidays, about how so many of us think that our way is right. So the other person, we need to shout louder because the other person keeps talking and they keep saying what's wrong. So we just need to keep, shouting louder and louder until that's all, our audience can hear, as if, or without realizing that the other person has the same opinion, that they are right and they're trying to shout louder. And it really hit me, gosh, don't people realize that we have everybody's got different opinions? Growing up, when I was a pompous ass, well, I'm not saying I'm not anymore, but when I was a real pompous ass, and actually so much so they almost kicked me out of the dorms when I went at UF because of just stupid stuff, not because of me doing anything wrong, but because I was an ass. And that was a scary moment. Because I had to tell my parents. And I realized that how come people don't think like me? And I knew I was right, but that was as a child. And what do they say? When we grow up and become an adult, it's time to put away childish things. But here we have all of these adults, and we're not talking just new adults, the 20-year-olds. We're talking 70-year-olds that are still holding on to, this is the right way. And, anybody can think what they want, but they're wrong. And it just hit me during the holidays. How come more people don't realize that everybody's different and everyone's going to have a different favorite type of food? Everyone's going to have a different favorite type of car. Everyone's going to have a different favorite way of addressing a bill that's trying to get passed. So,
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So we were talking about like a month or so ago, we were with some friends and talking, and the conversation went into politics, and it became really uncomfortable for me. And so when we left, I felt exhausted, discouraged, and sad. And so what Armand and I came up with, it seems like there's probably more than this, but there are like 3 types of people in a discussion, especially around politics. There's the steamroller who just comes in, they're louder, they're angrier, they are, wanting to always be right. And they, it's kind of like, that's the first group.
That's James Taylor.
And is there a song by James Taylor called Steamroller?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I knew there had to
I'm
be
a
a folk.
steamroller, baby. A churning urn, a burning funk.
Okay, I do know that. That's right.
I'm a steamroller for your love, baby. Hefty hunk of steaming junk.
So those are tough to talk to, steamrollers. Even if you're trying to be purple, it's really challenging. So that's one of them. What's the other one?
Then there's another one that we call those that keep quiet but listen. And I can fall into that category because I find when things get really uncomfortable for me in a discussion, I find I go silent because I don't like conflict. I don't like hard discussions, arguments. And so I kind of become the silent one.
I don't know too many of those. In my experience is there are a whole lot more steamrollers than there are the hot air balloons
Well,
that are just kind of floating and watching. I don't know what you'd call them, but yeah.
I'm wondering on Facebook, I mean, if we put something on there politically, we have 5,000 people on our Facebook page, but only about, a very small percentage of them will actually say something. So there may be people just sitting
Okay.
back observing. I don't know.
And
Fair
the
enough.
thing with those that keep quiet, like I can do sometimes, is when you leave the your friend's home, or you go back home, I feel I'm fuming, I'm exhausted, I'm sad, because I haven't really expressed, but I find I just can't go there because I just feel like I'm going to get eaten up by the steamrollers.
And then
What's
of
the third
course
type?
the purple.
The purple, which you, Doug, and Armand are really good at being purple in these conversations, and I really admire that.
Trying to bring the conversation back to civility,
Right.
bringing people together. Just a little simple thing like, okay, so that's a valid opinion. That's a great thing to say when somebody says something that's steamrolling. You know what? That is a valid opinion. Here's my opinion. And to try to find that thing. But I'll tell you, it's gotten to a point for me who loves these discussions. I wasn't near as drained from it that she was.
I am so sorry.
And we're back. I wasn't near as drained from it as she was. However, I still realized a lot of it was wasted energy. And what I'm going to do more of is recognize if I have someone that's not open to anything but steamrolling and an us versus them, win lose type of thing, to not give up so much of my energy, and that I don't have as much energy left over to do, stuff that really could bring us together. So that's been a good lesson for me in 2020 is that, Armand, you don't need to try to create a purple conversation every time you're around people.
Right, right. And it's funny when you said the steamroller, Angelina, I was thinking about Daryl Davis, about, he says sometimes the best thing to do is to run away or walk away. Like we were talking fight, flight, freeze, or faint, or yeah. And he said that's the best thing to do sometimes. Well, if you got a steamroller, there's really no sense in trying to have the conversation. It's just not going to happen. And then we interviewed someone who we haven't aired the episode yet, but Gian Killian we interviewed, and she was talking about methods of talking to people that actually acknowledge them first and getting into their spaces, which is essentially what you're talking about. That's a valid point of view. And I have a different one. I'd like to share that with you as well. So,
yeah. And that is, I said it, I feel in most of my relationships, whether they're close friends or not, that can have some good results almost every time you do it. That's a valid. I see what I write on Facebook a lot when somebody says something that bugs me. I go, okay, let me get into this. Okay, I see your point. Even if I don't agree with it at all, I can see their point, where it's coming from, versus immediately going in with the opposing idea. Fair enough. Fair enough is another good one. Fair enough,
Right. Oh, yeah, it's funny. I do, and I say that a lot, actually, probably too much. So I put together this is just last night. I was jotting down some notes of what purple is, because I thought it would be good to kind of just start fresh with 2021. And tell me if you agree with any of these. I only put down 5 of them, but they were pretty big ones, because I'm thinking, what makes something uncivil? How do we be civil? Well, what is uncivil? Oh, I know what brought it up is because I'm really good with being able to tell if someone's not coming from their heart, if they're not being authentic. I don't know if they're flat out lying, factual or fiction information, but I can always tell if they're not being authentic. And I don't know why that is. Call it a sixth sense, call it being empathic. I don't know, but it's easy for me to see, but I have to realize that other people have different skills that I don't have, and they don't have that one. A lot of people have no idea when people are not being authentic. And I have to remind myself that just because I can see that easily doesn't mean they can. And this again, vice versa. There are things they see that I can't see. So that made me think, okay, well, what are some things to look out for? And my number one hint that first came to my mind was name calling. If I'm in a conversation and somebody starts name calling, and even if that somebody is me, that's an instant sign that there's some incivility, what's the word? Non-civility happening. Number two, swearing. Swearing to me, when you're having a disagreement, okay, of opinions, not when you're just, hanging out on the street, yeah, I don't know, having a good time with your buddies. But yeah, in a disagreement, swearing seems to, it's like letting the punches fly. I don't know. It's just a cut above where it's a red flag that says, we might be getting into uncivil territory here. Even raising voices. I actually put that as a separate one. When you start yelling at one another, that's not civil. Number four, and people might not agree with this, but I am going to hold to it for now. If you retort or you get defensive, a lot of times, and again, this might have something to do with me picking up on people's authenticity or inauthenticity. When they're being defensive, it to me, it almost, a lot of times it sounds like they're not willing to listen to the other person. They're just going to defend themselves. And anyway, last one I put, it was blank statements. We talk about that all the time. Daryl Davis talked about it. He said, if somebody, calls a black person the N-word, now they're not talking about that person. Now they're using a term that is supposed to demean an entire race of people, or to say all Democrats are stupid. Well,
Right.
wow. How absurd of a statement could you make? That's pretty absurd. All Democrats are stupid. So blanket statements seem to be a big one. Anyway, I didn't know if you guys had some other ones, and I also actually had some video samples I want to share. But Angelina, it looked like you were about to.
I want to know, because I'm the one that usually just keeps quiet because I don't know how to tone it down, or can we be a little more kinder in our words or whatever. So you two being the purple ones, when that happens, how do the two of you handle that, and what do you do to kind of bring back the conversation to a more calmer conversation?
A great question. And actually, we even had one of our listeners called in and left us a voicemail. I didn't even tell you about this one yet, guys. That asked that question. That could you please do some role playing and show us what a purple conversation sounds like? Which we won't take the time to do today, but maybe we can do an episode with that and share her message. But what I do, Angelina, almost always is first thing I do almost always is shut my mouth. I just shut my mouth. And I told you that I did that one day in the car when my friend said some things that just blew my mind. I thought, Doug, shut your mouth. And I was a little bit more aggressive with myself than that. I'd probably use some swear words to myself, shut your effing mouth. And that stops me. Like the 3 breaths that you were talking about that Deepak recommended, that stops me for a minute. And and then I can get in tune not only with how I'm reacting inside, but I can get in tune with they believe what they're saying. And let's listen to what they're saying. And if it's possible, let me try to get into their space for just a moment and see why they're feeling the way they're feeling. And is there any way that I could, understand where they're coming from, even if I don't agree with it? So that's the first thing I do, is shut my mouth. Armand, how do you deal with it?
Well, the old adage, responding versus reacting, would be bringing the things a lot more purple. Reacting is the defensive act, the knee-jerk act, not quieting your mouth, just reacting to what they're saying, versus responding to what they're saying because you've let it come in. You've thought, fair enough, that kind of stuff. So that's definitely very helpful for me. We already talked about it. I see your point. That makes sense, and blah blah blah, fair enough, all those things. So, I'm more comfortable with conflict than Angelina is. And so she may get out of a conversation before it could have maybe moved, and I may stay in one that's never going to move. And so it's finding
and,
that
and she's
balance.
saying, Armand, come on, get out.
Yeah. We joked about,
Oh, he's got a little nervous.
I have several friends, one very close one that is a QAnon person, and sometimes she and I'll start to talk, and it is amazing how the room clears, and we're the only ones in there that people go, "Oh God, oh God, we got."
One by one, everyone starts to leave,
Yeah.
except for
And
the
so-
two of them.
And I'm learning. You talked about the different ways people use language and tones. All caps in a Facebook comment can often come off as steamrolling, all caps. And it's like, even if it's not meant to be that way, when people see all caps, all of a sudden they feel pushed. And so, yeah, it's just avoiding those knee-jerk reactions, breathing into a response, empathizing, all the stuff you said makes total sense.
Yeah, while you were saying your example of how you handle it, I was thinking one of the things I say is, I got it. And you and I just have totally different opinions. That's all. Well, when I say that, what's the first thing they say? Well, what is your opinion? Now, if I were to say instead, well, but I believe blah, 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 blah,
Right.
blah. They're not even listening. But, because they're like, can you at least acknowledge what I just said? But no, I just jumped in like a steamroller. Well, I believe that I could breathe. Blah, blah, blah. But instead I said, yeah, okay. And it's just that you and I have totally, like a 180 different opinions.
Yep.
And then I shut up. I leave it. And then I wait for them to say, well, what is your opinion? Well, now they're listening. And now we're having a conversation.
Yeah. This just came in literally today from Braver Angels, and I didn't know this. In 1862, in the middle of the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln said, "The occasion is piled high with difficulty, and we must rise to the occasion." And I would say that's very much what's going on right now. This country is piled high with difficulty, this occasion. Let's rise to the occasion. I believe in us. I really do believe in us. There wouldn't be all these organizations promoting a version of what we're promoting if we didn't have this in us. Everybody ultimately would rather not be fighting for their life all the time verbally.
I agree. I think there are quite a few people out there that think that the difficult occasion in front of us is not the lack of civility, but that the other side doesn't understand why they're right. I'm not joking about that. You laugh,
No,
but
you're not. No,
I
you're not.
have some very dear friends of mine, that are pretty hardcore left, and they don't get that people have different opinions and everybody can be right in their own mind. They just get that the problem with our country is that the other side doesn't agree with them. However, I will agree with you that it's growing. There are more and more people out there that realize the biggest problem that we have is that people aren't being civil.
Right on. Right on. And when you talked about those blanket statements, to me, blanket is almost another word for bigotry. If you say you are a jerk, that's fine. If you say all of your people are a jerk, or all of you Democrats are a jerk, then you're doing the bigoted thing versus just dealing. Somebody could be actually being a jerk, and
Right.
you just say that comes off jerky to me. But the blankets,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
good. Name call, all of that is really what I think 2021, we certainly know what the other stuff looks like.
Right, no doubt. I'm going to say something. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say we may not have a reference point for civility, but we certainly have a reference point for non-civility, and that's a good start. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. This woman, Dean Killian, who we interviewed, she gave a great example of name calling. sure, somebody can be an asshole. Got it. You can be an asshole, but calling somebody an asshole, even though it may be true, is it really effective? Does it really describe what they did that bothered you? Wouldn't it be better to say, I was really pissed when you stole my lunch, in sixth grade. You stole my lunch, or you could say in sixth grade, you were an asshole. Well, okay.
Right.
Maybe that is an asshole move, but can we be a little bit more specific about what actions were happening and what was so? And I found that to be very constructive as opposed to vague, which could be destructive.
Perfect.
Right.
Can I show you these examples? I'm really
Yeah.
excited about these.
Yes.
All right. So,
Yeah.
fitness is everywhere right now. It's the new year. Everyone's, this is the time when all the gym memberships, even in COVID, we have tons of people getting excited about fitness and buying stuff online and all that.
Right.
And now it's a lot of these different machines and stuff because a lot of gyms aren't open or they don't feel safe going to the gym. So one of these things I was looking at were these bands, like resistance bands. And I started seeing some funny stuff. Funny to me. They didn't mean it to be funny, but I want to share them with you. So I actually, last night I went back and I looked at some more again to pick out. I got one that I think is pretty dang civil, pretty purple. Okay, I'll tell you what it is. It's about some resistance bands, and some of you will, just by watching this video, you'll know what brand it is, but I'm not going to call them out. But it was a specific brand. And the first person said, it's basically a scam. Yes, they're real bands, and yes, they will work. But what the company's claiming is a scam. But he did it in a very purple way, I thought. Very civil way, just matter of fact, this is why I think it's a scam. The second one was a retort from the company, not to him, but to all of the people that poo-poo their system, okay? Because there are other people out there that also think it's a scam. So his retort was a little uncivil. And we'll talk about that before we play it. And then the third one was somebody who was totally demolishing this system and being absolutely as uncivil as possible about it. Very 2020 of him.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
that might be
yeah.
the new catchphrase. That was so 2020.
Oh, that's really good.
That's good.
I like it.
I love it. So can I play the first one for you?
Would love to.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this one is the first person saying why he thinks that the system is a scam, but doing it in a proper way.
So vacation, assistance, sticking points, great. Wonder weapon, absolutely not. It's just not, okay? So those claims, I know where they come from, but they seem somewhat dishonest and deceiving to me. You wanna buy your bands, Jump Stretch on Amazon, great brand. I do not get commission. Check it out, Michael.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to say something, that's a pretty decent way to say it. Stating your opinion,
Right.
not attacking anybody.
Didn't
There's
sound angry, maybe a little bothered, but not angry.
yeah. Just I heard clarity.
I heard clarity and I heard his opinion of facts, but without trying to cut someone else down. Yeah. What
Okay.
last thing you were going to say something else, Armand, or?
No, but clarity. Clear opinion. There's nothing
Cool.
wrong with a nice, clear opinion, even if it's outrageous, like the Earth is flat.
Right. All right. So the second one is the owner of the company retorting back to all of the naysayers and the people that say it's a scam. People like him, but also people that were a little bit more adamant about it, a little bit more voiced. So
Here we go.
And then, there's always like the customer that didn't really understand what they bought. And, they might say, I remember we got a 1-star review from somebody who said, bicep curls are so 1990s. And I thought, okay, so don't do them. But the guy was a jerk and gave us 1 star. So, okay, well, there's those guys out there too. But over time, we're getting so many people that are so happy with the product. It'll drown out all the clowns and confusion and people who have never touched it and think they know everything. Which, by the way, in case you haven't noticed, the internet is full of people who know absolutely nothing yet present themselves as experts on many subjects.
Wow. Yeah. That's so 2020.
What did you pick up from that? That would be non-purple. Because I know what I picked up. But
Jerk.
Clowns.
I think he said, did he call
yep.
him a jerk? The
And-
people a jerk.
Right. And by the way, thank you for your opinion. You've let me know that you don't know what you're talking about. Whoa. You tell somebody they don't know what they're talking about, conversation either going to be over or they're going to try to prove that you don't know what you're talking. Yeah. So yeah, not good.
So to interrupt the other two, is that common that people come back on and say like a commentary about what the comments are and defending it? I've not seen that before.
Generally speaking, I have seen that usually when there's a lot of negativity, but there's my opinion, there's only a lot of negativity about a product or a system if there's something to be negative about it, and it's usually in a defensive way, which, all right, see, for myself, because I pick up on the heart and authenticity, I mean, that was a total defensive stand, as opposed to just being confident in the product and saying, I'm sorry you feel that way. These are the facts that I have, and these are the people that have succeeded from it, and this is why it works. And if you feel that way about it, then I'd say don't use it. And I'm sorry you feel that way. But he didn't come across that way. He came across very defensive. And those three things you mentioned are the three things I picked up on. He called people jerks, blanket statement. He called people clowns, blanket statement. And he said, you think you know everything.
Right.
Well, nobody thinks they know everything, blanket statements. So yeah. So yes, it is common.
Right. And certainly it's common relative to Facebook posts, because those comments below will be loaded with those kinds of, condescending comments. Wow.
Yeah. Good call. All right. Number 3, this one is going back to another patron who purchased the product, or I guess he didn't purchase the product, but he researched the product, whatever. Anyway, just go ahead and play. Let's roll it. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
All that shit about it being better than free weights, get the fuck out of here. Especially the way they have people doing these fucking exercises. They have jabronis, literal jabronis, taking this band, putting it around their fucking neck and doing tricep pushdowns. How good is that for your fucking posture? Really fucking good to put pressure right on the back of your fucking neck as you're pushing down. What kind of a doctor, what kind of a professional makes a product in which you're gonna put the rubber bands around your fucking neck?
Man, I want to party with that guy.
Okay. Swear words are not good.
It doesn't instill a sense of calmness and
It does
and
not. Oh my goodness.
dialogue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's funny, he never really called anybody a specific name except for the jabroni, which I have to comment on. But
Yeah,
even
I
though
didn't
it
know
wasn't,
that word.
yeah, I didn't either. Even though there wasn't blanket statements like you're stupid or you're a jerk, or there was certainly a lot of the energy of incivility. Maybe that's the word, incivility.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
and you're right, a lot of it comes from energy, Angelina, like you said, raised voice, steamroller, swear words.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
no common ground. They actually work pretty good if you use them this way. I'm not a fan of this particular thing. I think it puts too much pressure on the neck. Whatever. There was none of that. There was pure,
Yeah.
pure vitriol.
Yeah, could have said the same exact thing the way the first person said it, and it would have been fine. The exact same information, but
Right.
yeah, it came across a little different.
I need to go watch Mary Poppins after that.
or the Charlie Brown Christmas special,
Right,
something. Right,
right, something.
That's
We
what
just saw
civility is
that.
all about, Charlie Brown.
We just saw that
Right.
on Christmas Eve, I think.
Yeah, we
Right.
did.
So jabroni, I had no idea what he was talking about, and I just typed it in like I heard it, like JABR, and then I saw it, jabroni, ONI, and I'm like, what the? So I clicked on it, and a lot of it was about The Rock, but then I watched an interview with The Rock that said I did not make up that word. Apparently, jabroni was made up by this guy, this pro wrestler back in The Rock's day when he was a wrestler, called the Iron Sheik. I don't know if you remember him. And he would, in backstage, of course, he would call, there were people that were called jobbers. And jobbers were the wrestlers that would come in to purposely lose. They knew they were going to lose the match just to help another person get more popular or whatever. They were called jobbers. Well, the Iron Sheik started calling them jabronis. I don't know where or why or how. The Rock didn't explain that, but and then he started using jabroni just in conversation. Hush up, stop being such a jabroni, but I'm all backstage, all in laughter and fun, and all these guys were having a good time together. But then The Rock started using it, and because The Rock got as famous as he is, he got credit for saying it, but apparently it's in the dictionary now.
Wow.
So,
Well, I just
Like,
I
okay,
just
jabroni.
channeled the actual definition. It's a dumbass.
Well, actually, they do. They call it. They say it's someone that's foolish or easily fooled. Stupid. So I guess that was the only blanket statement this guy made, because you could see in the video he was calling the guys that were doing the exercises jabronis because they were foolish. They had been suckered into
Right.
this. So,
And this is a perfect example of tone. None of us had ever heard that word. None of us knew what it meant. But tone wise, we knew exactly what he meant.
That's true.
I could see Daryl Davis walking down the street and hearing that word and doing a U-turn and saying, "Hey, wait, ho,
Yeah.
wait. Did you just call him a jabroni?"
When I was a kid, my father used to use the word jadrul a lot. And it's an Italian word for a cucumber. And it's not a good thing. It's like you're kind of like a meathead. You're like a cucumber. You're like a jadrul. You're cold. There's no blood in there. Anyway, forget about it.
Putz.
Yeah,
Putz.
putz. Yeah, Weisenheimer.
You had Italian. I had Yiddish.
Yeah.
Oh my. So awesome. Anything else to share about this before we move on to our?
I don't know. There was
or
another one of those things, but that might not be relevant.
Yeah. We're gonna hold
Nice.
off there.
Well, I know Angelina had some questions she wanted to ask you and me and our audience to play a little bit of a game. You kind of inspired her because you had some questions
yeah.
in one of the episodes
Oh,
where you had
great.
everybody like little quizzes. They're not really quizzes because there's no right or wrong answer,
Right.
even though there's some jabroni answers you could come up with. But in general, it's all right. So you want to share a little one of
Yeah,
those?
we got a
Ash?
couple minutes. Absolutely. Yeah.
3 words to describe 2020.
So you want to
First
start?
word.
Oh, you want
No,
to start,
you-
Doug?
Go ahead.
First word that came up for me was tough. Just tough. First word for you?
I wrote uncertainty. Just a weird year for us with not doing our gigs the same way and not knowing how to go out in public and what to wear and what kind of mask and how close and a lot of uncertainty. And I've been studying some, I think you turned me on to it, Doug, maybe the little anxiety YouTubes, COVID anxiety YouTubes, and talking about how uncertainty breeds anxiety. So
That was a long word.
I had racism. And that,
Yeah.
very bad.
Yep.
Are we doing 3 each, or are we doing 3 and then going to?
Well, let's do
All
one
right,
more.
so-
Let's do one more.
All right. So I'd say another word for 2020. Let's see. Sucks ass is 2 words. Let's see. Um, sad. Just sad. All around sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's great, one of the great things about 2020 was, regardless of what your politics were, if you believed that the masks were ridiculous, you were sad that they were being pushed. If you believed they weren't worn enough, you were sad. So I think as a country, we can all tap into that commonality. If you loved Trump, you were sad the way he was treated. If you didn't like Trump, you were sad that he was there. Yeah.
And
Well
I
done.
was sad about people that. Thank you very much. I was even more sad about how, like, I understand people that want stores and restaurants and things to open back up, businesses to open back up, because people are losing their businesses and they're losing their livelihood. We should go back to work. And I'm sad for those people that are losing their businesses. Yet I'm also sad for all the people that are getting sick and dying because people are out and about in the businesses and the restaurants, and they're getting sick and then they're dying. So I'm sad for them too. And the whole situation that seems to not have a solution is sad. So
Yeah. And just by saying you're sad about both sides, that shows a certain amount of civility and purpleness versus somebody's, I'm not sad about this.
I think that makes me the Purple Evolution Award winner of the day. I do.
Yeah, well, we have a silent award, and you're going to receive that today.
Okay, yeah. I just received a silent slap too. What's your
about
word,
you?
Armand?
My word. Introspection. I know a lot of people that during this time thought about something in a different way. Their career, their relationships, their health. Are they overworking? Just a lot of introspection. I've seen it on Facebook and I've seen it in the news. And that's the positive thing for 2020.
I said history, because there's so much history with the pandemic and with the
making
election.
history.
Like, there is a lot of history that's gone on in 2020 that I think will be talked about for a long time.
Where were
Agreed.
you when Kennedy was shot? Where were you when COVID hit?
Right.
I
And
won't forget.
I tell kids.
I won't forget that, or the 60 grand I lost
Oh, man.
in 9 fucking months.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, my.
So you said a curse word, but you didn't direct it at anyone. So it was a purple use of the F word.
Okay. All right. Great. Woo. Wow. All right. Next question, Angelina.
How about one of those?
Okay. A way you want 2021 to look like.
Civil.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds trite and it sounds like an easy answer because that's what we promote here, but I'm so tired of the fighting. Just so tired of the fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Civil.
Yep. That's a unanimous on this end.
Right. Okay. So, these two kind
Oh,
of.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind some money as well.
Right.
Bitch, better give me my money.
Oh my God.
So mine would be, let's see how we can get our government that I feel is broken to be where we can work together again and make it strong again. And I would like to see Joe Biden maybe appoint some Republicans into his cabinet, so there's more connected and unity between both parties and all. I think that would be really cool. I don't know if it'll happen, but I would like
Agreed.
to see that.
And acknowledging that Joe Biden didn't win the election only by Democrats. There were Republicans that voted for him, and they need to be honored. Progressives, moderates, Republicans, all need to be honored in that, in my opinion, for more civility. I obviously, I think everybody wants COVID to be under control. So that's a bit of a given in 2021. We'd like for COVID to be under control. But I always thought the news media really could do some work in being more objective and more data driven, less opinionated and biased. We saw what the other thing does. It just throws fire or gas on the fire. And I believe the news media on all sides has thrown a lot of gas in 2020. Let's get some of that down.
Yep, yep.
Right.
Things that you would like to see change in 2021. Top 8 million answers on the board, survey says.
COVID.
Okay, I have one more question for everyone.
Okay.
What did we learn in 2020? What have we learned from 2020?
This is what they call dead air on the radio. This is going to sound negative, and I don't mean it to be, but I learned that we have a long way to go. And what I mean by that is I'm usually a pretty positive person, and I like to think not quite as Pollyanna as you, Armand, but I do like to think positively about our world and the good hearts of people. But I learned that when shit hits the fan, a lot of people in our country are, every person for themselves. And that really bothered me and still does. So I learned that we have a long way to go, and that, damn, we're doing something good here. Even if only one person hears us and starts to be civil to their neighbors and their family and the people across the aisle, then we're doing something good.
I would like to do a little purple civility around that. And that would be, I totally see that, Doug. I get that, and I agree with you. And according to the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse, look how far we've come. That's one of their little things. Yes, both can be true. When are we going to remember that both can be true, that we've got a long way to go and we've come a long way? They are not mutually exclusive. Okay.
Long way to go and a short time to get there.
We're going to say what they say can't be done.
So what'd you learn?
What did I learn? I learned that America is very creative. Americans are creative and resilient. Obviously, Zoom and technology, and so many people are going to be modifying the way they work, even when this is over, to incorporate some of this technology in the field, which is going to give people more free time and not have to travel as much because they can do a lot from home. But also in the arts, watching these musicians have concerts at drive-ins and setting up big sound systems. Some of our YouTube stuff that we've done to get people to hear us when they can't come out and see us. The Broadway, the way they're using videos and things like that. Very creative. We are resilient and creative, and we will rise above it.
To comment on that, I've seen a lot of people in their jobs that were either not allowed to work from home, or that they never even considered they could work from home, the employee and the employer, that now they're working from home and nothing's changed. It's working just as well, if not better. So yes, people are resilient and realizing, there are other options out there that we were blind to or not willing to see.
Yes, and I hope that all of you in Purple Viewing Land will, write down some of this stuff. Just get an idea. Answer these questions for yourselves.
Okay. Yeah. So here's what I learned in 2020. So Armand and I got tested twice for COVID. And so what I learned is how far up your nose a Q-tip would go. Believe me, it is pretty far.
Holy crap. The most painful, I can think of two things that were more painful than that. One of them was kidney stones, and one of them is my migraines. Other than that, nothing is more painful than that. Holy crap. Woo.
Yeah. And we just did it. We just did it last night.
We did.
Our way of sort of compensating for not following all the guidelines around Christmas, and just to play safe, we got one, and they were I would say 1/10 as uncomfortable as before. Angelina might not be
I
quite
don't know.
there.
I still,
25%?
it was up there too far.
That's what she said.
Oh, boom.
Oh,
Okay.
boy.
All right. I
Any
think we've
quote
done
for
some good
today,
stuff.
Angelina?
Oh, I do have one. Okay, this is from Dana Perino,
She's a Fox News talking head.
right? I get a choice every time I have to open my mouth, that it can be with civility and dignity and grace or not.
I like it.
Go Dana. Go Dana.
Yeah, yeah.
She's one of our favorite talking heads on Fox News.
Cool. Got some mail for us?
I got a piece of mail here, and this is from somebody named Kristen Balcom Early. She writes, "Hello, relatives. I'm feeling called to share. I've been struggling a bit with how to stand in and speak my truth and stay in unity consciousness amongst all the divisiveness going on. So I took my prayers into the lodge." I'm thinking maybe sweat lodge of some sort. "Here's what the grandmother said. There are many stories unfolding on the world stage right now. They must continue to unfold in order to bring healing. Standing in one's truth does not mean taking away someone else's truth. Each individual's truth is their path of learning. I honor my truth by living it. I honor others' truths by understanding their need to live theirs. No matter how different it may seem, it is the shared need of each of us as individuals to express our own truth that makes us the same." Nice. Yeah, that was really powerful. I think that was
I
on
wonder
a
what
face.
she's like when someone cuts her off in traffic.
Oh, I actually witnessed that. She went, "You son of a holy child of God."
Oh my. So besides me, who's our Purple Evolution Award winner?
Okay, the non-silent one. This is going to go to our Congress for finally, after 7 months, passing legislation for a stimulus bill that will get money into the hands of struggling Americans. And we were talking about very rarely does stuff happen in Washington, D.C. that directly affects us, being white, heterosexual, cisgendered people. It doesn't affect us as much as it does other people often. But this stimulus stuff is right in our court, man. We're like watching every bit of it. It affects everything we think about it, what we're going to do, and when it's coming and how it's coming and how much is coming. So yeah.
Nice. And it sometimes takes a long time. My minister used to say, about the church board. Our board moves with the speed of a growing oak. And that reminds me of Congress a lot. So you're right. Something finally happened that affects us all.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, this has been fun, and I wish everybody a happy new year.
Yes.
And I wish us all a positive shift from 2020 into 2021, and maybe just take a few deep breaths, before we plow into the new year, and just think about who it is that we can be that would serve the world, our country, our community, not just ourselves.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Any last thoughts, Angelina?
Thanks to Armand, we have a new catchphrase. That was so 2020.
So 2020. So 2020. Yeah.
So, piggybacking right on you, Doug, I think that we can take a look at 2020, all the horse crap that we experienced this year, and turn it into compost to use in 2021 to grow a better political and social environment in 2021. That's how we can turn the lemons into lemonade, turn the
Amen.
horse manure into compost. Because what makes the best compost? Shit. And we've had a lot of it.
You have to bleep those words out.
I hope not. Oh, and Brussels sprouts makes good compost, because I won't eat those.
Okay.
They make good
not at
compost
all.
whether you eat them or not, because eventually okay.
They're going to come out right true.
Oh, good heavens.
Oh, nice.
Remember, There are good people in the world. If you can't find one, be one. Let's make America civil again.
When they're right people, I don't know when they're wrong people. We're all different shades of humanity. I don't know when they're liberal people. I don't know when they're conservative people. We're all different shades of humanity. But let me tell you now, we are all the same. One race.
No politicians were harmed in the making of this podcast.
The Purple Evolution would love to hear from you. Please contact us by visiting thepurpleevolution.org. You can send us an email, post a comment, ask a question, make a recommendation or a critique on our webpage, become a patron, or even shop for Purple Evolution products and gifts from our store. We are just one click away. thepurpleevolution.org. That's thepurpleevolution.org. We look forward to your visit.